Men often think cheating wives hide everything perfectly. But guilt? That's the one thing she can't bury. It leaks out in her touch, her voice, her excuses, even in the silence between you. And if you know how to read the signs, you'll see it clearly. You ask one simple question: who were you texting? Instead of answering calmly, she snaps. Anger. Sarcasm. Maybe even flipping the blame on you. That sharp edge isn't confidence. It's her guilty conscience screaming. Suddenly there are late meetings, new gym hours, errands that never existed before. Her stories sound too polished, too detailed. Because truth is simple. Lies. Lies always need decoration. Here's the sexy twist. She accuses you of cheating. Jealousy, suspicion, constant questioning. Why? Because her guilty mind projects her behavior onto you. She can't carry the secret, so she tries to share the burden by painting you as guilty too. She stops looking at you the same way. Conversations turn shallow. Her hugs feel colder. Not because she doesn't know how to love, but because guilt builds walls around her heart. She buys lingerie she never wore before. Dresses sharper. Spends hours on her look. You might think, finally, she's spicing things up. But remember, sexy upgrades don't just appear for no reason. The question is, who is she really dressing up for? Her phone now sleeps face down. Passwords change. Notifications vanish. She takes it to the bathroom, the shower, everywhere. When guilt lives inside the device, it never leaves her hand. Her body is there, but the fire feels fake. The kisses are shallow. The sex is mechanical, or disappears altogether. Because guilt can't fake passion for long. One moment she's sweet, the next she's angry, then suddenly quiet. Tears out of nowhere. Explosions over nothing. That's the storm of guilt tearing her apart inside. Suddenly, she talks about independence, freedom, privacy. Phrases like, "Don't be controlling," or "I just need time for myself." But let's be real, this isn't about self-growth. It's about creating room to hide her secret. Listen carefully. One or two signs alone might mean nothing. But when you see the pattern, when the energy shifts, you know guilt is in the air. Don't ignore it. Don't get emotional. Stay calm, stay sharp. Because a high-value man doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't crumble. He watches, he reads the truth, and then he decides if she's still worthy of his loyalty. Men, never forget this. Your strength isn't in controlling her. It's in mastering yourself. One of the first signs is sudden over-attention. She starts acting overly sweet, overly affectionate, or unusually attentive. Maybe she's cooking your favorite meals out of nowhere, giving you random gifts, or suddenly showering you with compliments. Now, at first, this feels amazing. You might think, wow, my wife is finally treating me the way I always wanted. But here's the truth. Guilty people often overcompensate. Her mind knows she's broken the trust, so her guilt pushes her to make up for it by treating you better. It's not love, it's her subconscious trying to cover her tracks. The second hidden sign is defensiveness. You ask her an innocent question, "Where were you?" or "Who were you texting?" And suddenly she snaps. She gets irritated, angry, or flips the blame back on you. This isn't normal irritation. This is guilt mixed with paranoia. Her guilty conscience makes her feel attacked, even when you're just asking casually. Psychology calls this deflection. Instead of answering honestly, she throws you off with emotional reactions. The third sign is a shift in her daily routine. She suddenly has late work meetings, new gym sessions, or errands that keep her out longer than usual. Cheating wives often build a new schedule around their secret. But here's the giveaway. When you ask about her new routine, her explanations feel scripted or too detailed. Remember, truth is simple. Lies always need extra details. Her guilt forces her to come up with believable stories, but over-explaining is often the biggest giveaway. The fourth sign is projection. She starts accusing you of cheating. She suddenly doubts your loyalty, asks too many questions, or becomes jealous for no reason. Why? Because her guilty mind projects her own behavior onto you. This is one of the oldest psychological defense mechanisms. If I'm doing wrong, maybe he is too. So instead of facing her own actions, she shifts suspicion toward you. The fifth hidden sign is emotional distance. You'll notice conversations feel shallow. She avoids deep talks, avoids eye contact, and sometimes even avoids being in the same room for too long. The reason? Guilt builds emotional walls. She knows she's betrayed you, and being too close reminds her of her own actions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Her guilt is slowly dyeing her soul, and you feel that distance. The sixth sign, a sudden change in her appearance. She's buying new clothes, wearing new lingerie, or spending more time on her looks than ever before. Now, yes, sometimes women improve their appearance for themselves, but here's the key difference. If she wasn't doing this before, and it appears suddenly with no real reason, there's often another man in the picture. Her guilt hides behind phrases like self-care or just trying something new. But deep down, those changes aren't for you. The seventh sign is hidden in her devices. Her phone is suddenly locked with new passwords. She keeps it face down. She takes it everywhere, even to the bathroom. If you ask to use it, she hesitates. Messages get deleted. Notifications are cleared. Cheating wives become protective of technology because they know one slip could expose everything. Her guilt drives her paranoia, and that paranoia makes her overly cautious. 8. Deck her.